Hey, welcome back to Hogtown Homestead. Like and subscribe if you feel so led. Today, we are processing lard that we got from all the pig fat. So, I'm gonna show you how much fat came off of those two pigs and what we're gonna do with it. This is a stock pot full of fat that came off the pigs. April is cutting it up and we're putting it in this crock pot to render down into lard. We're gonna have to do some more processing with it, so as it melts and becomes more and more rendered, we're gonna have to scoop out little chunks of meat and stuff like that. You see some of the meat right there. And anyways, this is going to become lard and it's gonna make some delicious pie. So as the process continues, I'll keep adding to this video so that you guys can see how to do it yourselves. And if you got any ideas on how we could do it better, leave it in the comments below. All right, folks, we have just finished the process of making lard. That's 2 empty crock pots. One of the things that you'll need when you do this, which we didn't have, is cheesecloth. So make sure you have cheesecloth. We use paper towels, so if you don't have cheesecloth, you can make that work. But you want to get this stuff as clear as possible once you get the crackling out of there. This is what we ended up with after cooking the fat on low in these crock pots for 14 hours. This is what it'll look like. So these things will initially float and then they'll sink and then they'll start floating again. And that's the sign that this is all over, that it's done. So this is all crispy. I just broke that. This is super crispy and it's still very, very hot. So it may not be hot on the outside, but it's still filled with oil and stuff on the inside. And so, believe me, it burns because I burned my tongue on it. So anyways, we scooped this out with a spoon and, strained as much as we could over the crock pot as we were pulling it out and putting it on a cookie sheet. That's one pan or one crock pot full. Here is another crock pot full. This stuff is also super crispy. You can hear it. And it's so good. One or two pieces of this make me full. It's amazing. But anyways, and it is good to eat. So I know that, in our current culture, it may not be like looked upon as something good to eat, but this is actually pretty tasty and pretty good for you. There's a podcast I listen to called Wise Traditions, and they hail lard and animal fat as this basically magical substance that we ingest. Anyways, so we took all this out, and then what was left was a whole bunch of liquid in these crock pots. So we strained it, not in the sink. Well, it was in the sink, but we kept it contained so it didn't go into our septic tank. We strained it through a strainer first to get the bigger chunks out, because we didn't get all those out yet, into a smaller bowl right there. And then we took that liquid that had been strained and we had a bigger bowl in this sink, and we used the strainer again, but this time with the paper towels. You'll want cheesecloth. We put the paper towels in the strainer to get as much of the little bits out of there as we could. And then we used that Pyrex cup to scoop the lard out from that big bowl and into these mason jars. Now this stuff is still pretty hot, but that's what you're gonna end up with. Looks like honey right now, but as it cools, it's going to solidify into white lard. So, and this is how much we got from 2 pigs. We probably could have got more, but we got 5.5 jars of this stuff. These 2 big jars were towards the bottom of the, basically the dregs of the liquid. And so I'll show you some of the chunks that are in here. There's some, you can probably see those, hopefully. So sooner or later, those chunks will cause this lard to go rancid. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna eat that first. But anyways, and this one has some floaties in it too. And again, we're gonna be using this stuff up a lot for baking and making pie crusts and stuff like that. So anyways, this is the yield of lard from all the fat that we rendered down today over 14 hours. I'll let you know how it looks or how it tastes. I'll let you know how it all turns out, and I'll show you an after video of what it looks like and us cooking with it when the time comes to use it. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Hogtown Homestead. Once again, like and subscribe if you feel so led. We really appreciate you coming with us as we learn how to do this kind of stuff. If you have any comments on how you would make lard differently, let us know in the comments down below. But you all have a great day. We'll see you next time.